This happened back in 2014 and is one of the scariest things that's happened to me. Now, I'm not going to say specifically where I live, but I live in an area that has beautiful mountainous regions and clear lakes. I live probably only half a mile from this, so very often I'll drive up with me and Winston, my dog, and we'll take a lovely long walk along this trail. Now, I do this very regularly, probably 5 times a week. I don't really care how long I'm out for because it's such a beautiful sight, and to be honest, I just like being alone in my thoughts. So I was walking along this trail, probably around 7 p.m., when I see a man in the distance. Now, it's not necessarily uncommon to see people on this path, but it's also not common, so I'm always a little bit wary, but for the most part, the majority of people are fine. So I just kept walking. The man was a distance away, so I wasn't too concerned. We keep walking and take another path. Now, to describe this path a little bit, it's one of those paths with lots of little stones and rocks on it, so you can hear people coming behind you. Obviously, there's not many people on this path, so I can't hear anybody, but sometimes Winston can be a little bit noisy, and he just barks at random birds and whatnot. Sometimes he even barks at leaves. He's kind of weird like that. So we're walking along the path for another half an hour when Winston stops and barks in the distance. He's pointing his nose just to the left, and I can't really figure out what he's barking at. I just shrug it off as he's barking at pretty much nothing, as always. Then I see some movement just behind a tree, really far in the distance. I'm kind of confused, but I shrug it off as it's probably a deer or something. I don't really know. By this point it's kinda late, so I decide to turn back and walk back to where our car is. So as I'm walking back, it's pretty much pitch black at this point. I'm just trying to follow the path and get us back to the car safely. That's when I hear footsteps behind me. Like I say, you have like pebbles and rocks on the ground near me, so you can hear when people are coming behind you. It didn't sound like it was too far in the distance though this time. It sounded as though the person was 15 feet behind me maybe? I can't really tell. I turned around and lo and behold, I see a man, maybe the same man that I saw in the distance earlier, walking back behind me. Maybe he was just walking the same direction as me. I don't really know, but nonetheless I was a bit creeped out. So I decided to take an alternative path that I know leads back to my car. So I turn off on this path and the man keeps going the same way, so there's nothing to worry about. He's gone as far as I'm concerned. That's when Winston stops and barks again, but I didn't hear anything behind us. Suddenly, I see the man is about 20 or 30 feet in the distance. That's when I get scared. I pick up Winston because he's a really small dog, and I run as fast as I can down the trail. At this point, I drop down and hide behind this big broken log. Now I say log, it's more of a tree trunk, and I stay completely silent, try not to give away my breathing, and hopefully Winston doesn't make any noise either. That's when the man jogs past and stops for a moment, looking around. I can feel my heart in my mouth as I'm praying that Winston doesn't bark and notice what's going on. I keep stroking his head, and we're just looking up at the man, looking round to figure out where we went. That's when he just takes off and continues on down the path. I leave it maybe 15 minutes, and then slowly walk back to my car. Thankfully, the man was nowhere to be seen. Now, I drive home, and I'm pretty spooked out. I feel stupid for putting us in this situation in the first place, as we shouldn't have gone out that late. Thankfully, nothing ever came of this situation, but I don't know why that man was running after us, or following us in the distance. Hi everyone, it's me again. I actually forgot to mention that I had another scary experience on this exact same path just 2 years prior to this incident. Now, for those of you who didn't read my previous post, this area that I live in has beautiful scenery. There's a mountainous region and beautiful clear lakes all around. I live probably only half a mile from this, and I drive up and walk my dog Winston there normally, but sometimes I just go on my own. This time, I was just going on my own. So I pull up and step out onto the path. I want to provide you with some scenery for what happened. I want to provide you with a picture of what this place looks like. So you step out. You're initially on this rocky path that has pebbles, rocks and stones of all different sizes on it. The kind of trail where you can hear people walking behind you. There's a steep rock face that is probably at a 45-degree angle that leads to a lovely clear lake. And all around there's these vast areas of mountains. Now the path that you're on, of course, initially looks big where you're standing, but the more you look into the distance, the more you can see the path getting smaller and smaller as it loops and weaves around different areas of the mountainous regions, and you see it spring up in different areas that you didn't see before. It's a really lovely, beautiful path, and to be honest, I appreciate it so much. So I start walking on this path. This is winter time, and the ice lake is completely frozen over. The rocks are really slippery, and there's not many people about. Now, I don't know if it's just me being stupid and not going out at the right time, or if I just love avoiding people and like being on my own, but I always seem to go out late at night or around this time of year. So I'm walking around this winding path, and I walk for probably 2 or 3 miles with my headphones in, just enjoying myself. Now, me being stupid, I get a little bit too close to where the rock face leads down at a 45-degree angle to the water, and I trip and fall down. I roll down probably 15 feet, 20 feet or something, and normally on any other day I would land in the water, get up, shrug it off and just be a little bit embarrassed for the rest of the day. But this time I actually twisted my ankle, and I get up and my ankle's throbbing and I can't put any weight on it. This isn't the only bad thing. As I say, this is a particularly rocky path and it's hard to walk uphill on at the best of times, let alone when you've fallen down off the side of the path and all the rocks are icy. I try and get back up, but I can't seem to get my footing and I keep sliding back down, not to mention the pain of twisting my ankle. And as I mentioned earlier, no one really goes for walks at this time of year on the path because it's pretty dangerous and freezing cold outside, so I'm on my own. After about 20 minutes of trying to figure out how to get up and going 2 foot forwards and 3 foot back, I start to panic. I really don't know what I'm going to do in this situation, and my phone has no reception at all. I start to think of what would happen if I didn't get back for Winston, and if no one even knew I was here. What about when night sets and it gets even colder? What if I get hypothermia? I don't know what to do. So it's almost as though survival mode kicks in my brain. I decide the best way out is to stay calm and think of a plan. On the frozen lake, I can see there's a big stick sticking out of it, probably only 3 foot away from where I am. I grab it and pull it as hard as I can and rip it from the water. So what I do from this point is sort of scoop myself up 2 or 3 foot and dig the stick into the ground and push with my good foot and push myself up a little bit further. It takes me maybe 20 minutes to get to the top of where I started, but it takes me maybe 20 minutes to get back up onto the trail, but I managed to do it. And with my ankle throbbing and completely swollen, and I'm so cold and exhausted, I make it to the top. It takes me another hour and a half or so to hobble my way back to my car and get in. At this point, I can barely feel my fingers, and I'm so cold and in pain. I turn my car on, put the aircon on, and just sit there for a while, just trying to heat myself up. Despite my ankle being in absolute agony, I managed to drive my car back home and get back inside. Now, I know that many of you are going to say this is my fault and that I'm stupid, and I completely agree. I shouldn't have gone out on my own without telling anyone where I was, and I shouldn't have gone so close to the edge of the path. This could have ended a lot worse in my opinion, and I know it's not going to be as scary as many other stories you read on here, but to me, it was one of the scariest things that's happened to me, and I'm always more cautious when going out at this time of year. This happened when I was younger, and the thought of it still scares me to this day. So, I and a lot of my friends when school was out used to go over this park and just chill out. We used to play football and card games and just hang out and do whatever we wanted to do. We stayed here probably 5 hours of the day and just did whatever we wanted to and just enjoyed our freedom. I had a friend that lived close to the park, so sometimes we go back to his house and just hang out and play some Xbox and order pizza and have drinks or whatever, but we always ended up going back to the park and just playing and hanging out. Anyway, at around 6 or 7 PM, they locked up the gate to this park so no one could get in. Me and two other of my friends decided this might be a good time to jump over the gate and just have an explore. Now looking back, I don't know what we were exploring. We used to spend all day every day in this park, so it was just exactly the same, just dark. But one of my friends mentioned that there was another area that he'd never been to. Now, this area was even further back than we used to play our games, and it led to a gate that had a warning sign on it. So we walked up and peered through the bars. It looked like it was just some kind of junkyard or something. We couldn't really figure out what it was, but there were warning signs and security signs all over, so I didn't think it was a good idea. Anyway, despite me not thinking it's a good idea, my two other friends thought it was a great idea, so even despite me warning them not to, they decided that they were going to jump over and said what's the worst that could happen. So they jumped over the gate, which, to be honest, I didn't want to do because of the spikes on the top, but they convinced me and I jumped over. Now, we were just having a wander around when a huge spotlight came on. That's when things went downhill quickly. All of a sudden, I heard a door open and a man shouting. I couldn't figure out what he was saying because my heart was beating so fast, and then I heard dogs barking. Me and my friends decided that we're going to quickly run round to the area that we jumped over and get back over the gate and sprint back. But as we did this, the man spotted us and fired a gun in the air. That's when we knew that this was a really bad situation and we'd broke into a place that we definitely shouldn't have. So all three of us jumped over the gate as quickly as we could, with the dog running up to us and the man shouting and running too. We jumped over, our hearts in our mouths, and started sprinting back towards the gate that we came from. The man unlocked the gate and let the dog out, and the dog was chasing after us. Just as we got back to the initial gate that we jumped over to get into the park, we could see the man running towards us in the distance, and the dog had caught us up. Two of my friends had jumped over, but I hadn't yet. I was so scared that I was almost frozen. I was trying to climb up, but I couldn't. My hands felt like jelly and my legs did too, and the dog bit onto the bottom of my leg. I felt this shooting pain rise all the way up the back of my hamstring and into my lower back. The dog bit again, and I knew that I was going to be bleeding, and that almost shot me into action. I quickly pulled myself over the gate and dropped down onto the other side, slamming on my left side. My friend really quickly picked me up, and luckily my other friend had already gone over to our mate's house, who lived really close to the park. They opened the door confused, but we all just ran in and closed the door and explained the situation to them and told them to be quiet. Luckily our friend did live so close to the park though, because the dog and the guy with the gun came running through the gate, looking round for us. Of course, we were nowhere to be seen because we were in the house, and we could see him walking up and down the road looking for us with his dog. Now, I'm not saying the man would have shot us, or the dog would have eaten us alive, but I don't know what damage could have been done, or what kind of guy this was, and what he would have done with us. We clearly trespassed somewhere that we shouldn't have, and even though I knew it was stupid, we just wanted to explore. We weren't intending on doing any harm, but that guy didn't know that. Thankfully our friend did live so close to the park, and we were able to get into a safe place quickly without him seeing. That's probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me, and I still think about it to this day. The wounds on my leg healed, but I still have scars from when that dog bit me. Hello everyone, this is the part of the video where there's no more stories, so if that's all you're here for, then there's plenty more stories on my channel, and there's loads of other channels out there that narrate stories much better than I do. But if you're just here for a chat, then that's what I'm here for too. But anyway, what have you guys been up to? Anything interesting? You got any plans? Anything at all? If you want to have a conversation with me in the comments, like I always say, I don't care what race, gender, sexuality, anything you are, doesn't matter here. I just want everyone here to feel a part of it and welcome. So if you want to talk about anything at all, then you can message on the comment section here or on my community tab. Everyone's welcome here. I really don't care who you are. I really want this page to be, like I mentioned on my community tab, that a place where people can come regardless of who you are, if you're rich, poor, gender, race, religion, I don't care. I just want people to come here and be able to talk about horror or anything they're interested in, and just feel like they're not alone, because at the moment I think we're in such like a digital age. I think a lot of people that might have an anxiety disorder or something don't leave the house, and I think a lot of people feel very alone at the moment from what I can tell, and I want people to feel like they can come here regardless, and they have someone to talk to. That's what I want it to be anyway. I was going to mention as well, I have been having problems for a long time with my sleep. I really struggle to sleep, and when I do sleep I feel like I've not slept at all. I don't know if you guys ever feel like this, but I feel like I can get, if I get 4 hours sleep or I get 8 to 10 hours sleep, it doesn't make any difference. I just feel groggy and tired all the time, and I just want to be able to wake up and feel refreshed. But something I tried recently, and I don't know if it's a little bit of a placebo, it probably is some lavender. It's like this lavender powder that you put in a bath, or you can put it on like a pillow or something, and it seems to be helping a little bit. I'm not saying my sleep's perfect and I still feel tired, but I'm sleeping better, and I'm getting an extra, I'm getting sleep a bit quicker. I think that's what it is, where normally I'd just be lying in my bed knackered, not being able to get to sleep. I'm actually getting to sleep a little bit earlier, which is nice. I've also heard for sleep it's good to have blackout curtains, but I don't know if any of you guys have those, but could you let me know if they're actually any good, because I have just got like blinds, so I don't really know whether I need to get blackout curtains as well to help me sleep, or if there's any sort of like I don't know if there's any techniques that you guys know of. I hear people say as well, like it's good to not look at your phone or have any caffeine after like a couple of hours before you go to sleep. So I think that's probably another thing I'm gonna try. I think that's the plan for me, because my sleep is so bad, and it's really frustrating when all you want to do is just go to sleep and you're laying there, especially when you have something you need to do the next day, and you're just lying there. You think, I'm going to feel knackered tomorrow, today, and there's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, anyway, what was I going to say? I went off on a bit of a tangent then. That's what I was going to say. If any of you guys live in the UK, could you let me know if there's any like nice places to drive up to, for like a summer, like a day or something. I like sort of, I've seen lots of pictures of the Cotswolds and they look really nice, and I've seen pictures of what's it called, the Lake District and that kind of area, but I'm looking for other places that like you might not really know of, that are like little hidden away areas that are just really nice and scenic. Because really what I'd like to do is film some of these like nice scenic areas and have them in the background of these videos. A couple of these I've actually like some of the footage you see on the screen for these videos is stuff that I've recorded myself, but some of it isn't. So I think what I'd really like to do is have footage that I've recorded of really nice areas in the UK, or just scenic areas really. And so if you know of any nice places that I can drive up to for the day, ideally I don't want to spend loads of money, so like petrol money should be okay, but I don't want to have to spend 2 or 3 days somewhere, because the cost of living at the moment in England is crazy, and it's just going to be quite difficult, I think. But I think that would be a good idea. Do you know what? I want to hear you guys' opinion on something as well. I want you to tell me a place that isn't well known that you think everybody should know about. So I don't want people to say like London or Paris. Do you know what I mean? I want you to say like, I don't know, I can't think of a name, but I want you to tell me somewhere that maybe only you and people near you would know about, but the world in general doesn't know about. I think that would be something that would be nice to look up. And if you can send pictures, you can send it to me on my Twitter account, and I'd love to see it, to be honest. Or I don't know, can you guys post on my community tab? I don't know. Can you reply with pictures on my post? Because if you do, you should reply with a picture on my most recent community post. I'd be really interested to see that. Also, I want to know as well. What would you guys say is the best horror film that you've ever seen? And after you've said the best horror film you've ever seen, what is an underrated horror film, again, that not many people would know about, that you find really scary, that other people might not know of? That's the sort of thing I'm interested in. I want to hear like the little weird ones that no, I don't want to hear like, obviously for the first question, whatever, but for the second question, I don't want to be hearing The Shining or It. I want to hear like a weird, obscure one that I'm not really going to know of. I think that'd be really interesting, to be honest. I don't know if you guys find these sort of chats interesting. I know a couple of you listen to it, but I don't know how many of you actually sit there and listen to me rambling on. To be honest with you, I really enjoy just sitting down and having these chats with you, because it's quite therapeutic for me anyway. But yeah. Also, if any of you guys could recommend, I'm asking a lot of you, I know, but if any of you could recommend maybe like YouTube channels that you listen to or watch that help you unwind and just relax, let me know, because I try and find like when like I say, trying to get to sleep, sometimes I find it easier just to listen to a podcast, but I don't want a podcast that's really one you really have to focus on, if you know what I mean. I want to be able to listen to a podcast that I can just sit there and sort of zone in and out of, if that makes sense. So nothing too intense, you know. Maybe something just calm and relaxing, but just talking about a load of rubbish, and that's my sort of thing. Like to be honest, something like what I'm doing right now, but just more interesting. You know what I mean? Because I probably wouldn't listen to this. Like me talking right now, I probably wouldn't listen to this, but I enjoy it, and some of you I know enjoy listening to like the rambles and stuff, so that's why I do it. But in general, I don't think I really even talk about much, do I? Sort of just waffle on about nothingness. Do you know what I know I've spoke about before, because I remember talking about it? People that see faces in clouds and toast. Has anyone ever actually seen something that looks bang on like what they're saying? Because people always do this, and I see people going, oh, it was a spitting image of a dragon, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. Like the other day, I was sitting outside, and I can't remember who I was with, but they said, oh, look at that, it looks like a fish. It looked nothing like a fish. It wasn't even remotely close to looking like a fish. And that kind of annoyed me a little bit, because I was thinking, like, do people actually see things like Jesus in a waffle? And it's like, it's not though, is it? I don't know. Again, I'm probably going to have to look at pictures, but then if I do look at pictures, I'll probably get all photoshopped ones. So I want to know your opinion. Do you actually ever see anything that really looks like something in a cloud? Do you know what else? Another thing I know I've probably spoken about before. I spoke so much about random stuff, but if you won the lottery, right? I think about this quite often. If I won the lottery, what would I do with it? And right, I'm thinking, I've done the lottery. I've not just got one number like normal. I've got every single number. No one else has won it, just me. I've won 100 million, right? What's the first thing you do? Do you believe you've won it in the first place? Knowing my luck, I'd lose the the lottery ticket, but assuming I haven't, right, I think the first thing you do you probably call your loved ones, don't you? You tell them that you've won it. But how much do you? I always think, how much do you give your friends and family? Say if you won 100 million, do you tell people how much you've actually won? Because then other people are going to be expecting a lot of money off of you. So I feel like, do you play it down a little bit? Do you know what I mean? If you won 100 million, just say, oh, I won 15 million, 20 million. I don't know. Because I wouldn't want people to change, because I would still be the same person. I wouldn't want people to expect loads of money off of me. Obviously I'd give people that I love money, but would you, I don't know, say it's 100 million, say if it's your parents, you give them what, 10, 20 million of it, I would have thought. I don't really know. I think you'd give your friends, depends how close they are as well, doesn't it? Maybe 10 million to somebody for 5 million. I don't really know, because you don't end up spending like 80 million giving it out to other people. But I think that's what it'd end up being. I think I've never wanted a big house, so I wouldn't have to worry about buying a mansion, because I wouldn't want a mansion in the first place. Just seems like too much work, and I suppose if you had loads of money you could hire someone to clean it, but I wouldn't want to. I kind of like the idea of having like a small house. Do you know what? It sounds weird, but I like the idea of having like a little miniature hut or something, like a small house, a really small house is what I'd like the idea of. So I'll probably have something quite small but nice. Car, again, I'm not fussed with cars. I know there's a lot of car people out there that would buy like Lamborghinis, but I wouldn't. I'm just not bothered. And the things as well with me with food is, I like potato stars, beans, and chicken nuggets. So I don't have expensive taste. I think that's the problem I've got, is I don't care for expensive things. So I don't think it'd be any use me having the money. I think I'd donate a lot of it to charity, definitely. I already know that I would give a lot of money to hospices. That would be one of my first things, and cancer research would be another big one, and some sort of brain injury or disease charity. Those would be ones I'd give money to, definitely, and obviously other ones out wherever else out there I find. But I don't know about you guys, but I don't have that expensive taste where I feel like, oh, I'd love to go to the Savoy. Is that what it's called? Savoy? I've never had that, and like I see sometimes when you go to London, if you go near the central areas of London, you get all these people that are driving past in like, I think they're called G-Wagons or something, and like Lamborghinis, and you know, I just think, what's the point? Especially when you're driving around in London, like, it's going to cost a fortune on fuel. You'll be stressed out driving around London, because you know that someone could eat, like, you should see the driving in central London, it's awful. I was in an Uber the other month in London, and I feared for my life. This guy he kept getting in the wrong lane. I don't know how I swear to God, he was not in the right lane once. Every single time he went round a corner, he was in the wrong lane, and he was trying to squeeze past in rush hour traffic, like trying to squeeze into the next lane over. It was awful. He was genuinely, like, people were beeping him, like, he was cutting people up and everything, swerving in and out. Oh, it was horrible. He ran a red light. It was genuinely one of the worst experiences I've ever had in an Uber. Not that I've had many experiences in Ubers, that made it sound like, oh, I'm always in an Uber, but yeah, it was quite scary. But yeah, if you had a Lamborghini, you would be sitting there thinking, oh no, like, this person's getting a bit close, you're going to scratch it, or no, I'd probably reverse into something, or I just wouldn't want it. I don't want it. I don't want the hassle. I don't want the responsibility. Right, so car wise, I reckon I'd buy something probably still nice that I know can just run for, like, what is a car that can just run for ages and just not break? Something small, because I want to be able to park it, and I want to get through width restrictions. Maybe like, I want to get like a top of the range, like, not a smart car, they're too small, like a Mini Cooper or something, I don't know, just something really small. I don't know, a Mini Cooper's nice inside, I don't really know. Or it's like a old reliable Ford or something, do you know what I mean, like a really well built Ford that's just going to last forever, that I haven't got to faff around with. yeah, so that'd be one of the things I would most definitely do. Um, what else did I do? A holiday. Where would you go on holiday? If you won the lottery, would you go to... Because I've always wanted to go to America, and I've never been to America, but I don't know what area I'd go to. From what I've heard, I don't think I would be a massive fan of Miami. I don't know, maybe I'll be wrong. It doesn't really appeal to me. I think California I'd like, because I like the idea of the is it Yosemite, is it called? The national parks. I like the idea of that, but I'm a little bit scared of grizzly bears. Now, I don't know if grizzly bears are in Yosemite. I haven't got a clue, but it looks like it's got bears. And I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of grizzly bears. They look quite... I mean, they'd kill you, wouldn't they? So I don't want to be too close to a grizzly bear. I want to be in like a naturey area. Now, New York, I don't know. Part of me wants to go to New York, right? But is it London abroad? Do you know what I mean? Is it just London, just dragged and dropped somewhere else? Is there a point? If you already live near a city, is there a point in going to another city? Is what I'm saying. Is it too similar? I mean, are you better off just going to London? So I think maybe New York, depending on what's there and what I can go to. I mean, I want to try the hot dogs and stuff, but I don't think that's a reason to fly like that many miles just to get a hot dog. Obviously there's the taxis, but am I that bothered about a taxi? Not really. I'd like to go to the sports games, whatever sports, like basketball, whatever you've got out there. I'd like to go to, like, it's NBA, I think it's called. I'd like to go to some NBA games. I don't know what teams they have in New York. I don't know if the best teams are in New York, so I'm chatting rubbish, to be honest, but that's one of the things I would do. What else? Where else do I want to go? I used to always want to go to Brazil. Kind of still want to go to Brazil, but I don't know what areas are good to go to. Another place that I'd like to go to, I just don't know where's good to go to in Brazil, or where people would recommend. I'm not one of those adventurous people either. Like, people say they'd want to go travelling, but I'm not a massive travelling person, because I like relaxing. If I'm going on holiday or vacation or whatever somewhere, I like the idea in my head that I'm there to relax. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I'm like traipsing through the Amazon, getting bitten by everything, I wouldn't be enjoying that. So for me, I don't think travelling would be my thing. I think I'd like to go to somewhere you can relax. And I know what people are going to say. People are going to say Dubai. And I would like to go to Dubai. But again, I know nothing about it. So I'm talking about things I know nothing about. I don't know where even in Dubai is good to go to. Yeah. My favourite place that I've ever been to be honest, is Spain. Spain and Italy. I really love Italy. And I like the whole culture and everything of Italy. And Spain, I think, every time I've been to Spain, it's been boiling hot. I really like Spain. There's something about the people there that is nice. The food's nice. The beaches are really good. Just something about Spain. I really enjoy Spain. I think it's one of my favourite places. I think Barcelona is a really nice place. I've been to Mallorca as well. Canary Islands nice too. The Canary Islands are a little bit windy though. So I think if you're travelling for pure heat, I'd go to Spain. If you're going for I think in the Canary Islands they've got lots of water sports and lots of different I mean you get that in Spain as well, but I mean they've got little trips you can go to different little islands and different places. I think the Canary Islands are more close to North Africa than they are to Spain, if I'm right, and it's a lot more windy because you've got the wind coming off the deserts, I believe. I could be making it up again, but I think that's the case. So I think I love the Canary Islands too. I've been to Fuerteventura when I was younger, and I love Fuerteventura. It's such a nice place. Okay, I'll list to you guys the countries that I've been to. My entire life, I've been to Italy, and I stayed with family friends. I've been to Spain. I went to, like I said, Barcelona and Mallorca I've been to. And if you live in England, Spain is relatively cheap to go to. So Spain's always a great option in England because you can go there. To be honest, it's just about the same price to go to Spain as it all inclusive than it is to go somewhere in England at the moment. You go to somewhere in England for a weekend, you can end up spending like 300-400 quid. You go to Spain for a week all inclusive and you can spend 400-500. So a lot of people go out to Spain when they're from England, you know, because even though there's lovely places in England, Spain's just hot and you get the whole experience of going away. I love Spain. I know I've said this 100 times. I really love Spain. Yeah, so I've been to Spain. I've been to Fuerteventura, which is still Spanish. I think it's still Spanish owned or whatever, but it's Canary Islands. I've been to Tunisia when I was young. Did I say Tunisia? Well, I've been to Tunisia when I was young again. I really like Tunisia. It was probably the hottest place. Actually, yeah, maybe the hottest place I've been to. And I've been to Turkey as well. I like Turkey. Turkey's a really cool place. The heat in Turkey was something like I haven't experienced before. It was like 45 degrees or something. It's just pure heat. There's no wind. It was like sitting in an oven. But I really like Turkey. It's a really good place to go to. Let me know in the comments. Again, I'm asking too much of you all today. Let me know in the comments the places that you guys love going to and where's your favourite place you've ever been. I always find, you know, that it's not necessarily the place you go to that makes it good or how much money has been spent. It's sometimes the people you go with and what's in the area. Because my favourite ever places I've been to have been cheap places that didn't cost much money, that I've enjoyed it the most. Actually, another one I forgot to mention, I went to ages ago. I went to Crete, which is like a Greek island. Crete's really nice as well. I've never actually been to mainland Greece though. I'd like to go to Athens and wherever else. And I like, again, the history stuff. I like going and looking at the old ruins. I know it sounds a bit boring, but I kind of like all that stuff. That's why I want to go to Rome, because I like the history behind it. I just find it interesting, to be honest. Like, that's the good thing about being from England, which I don't think I appreciate sometimes, is there's so much history that you can just have pretty much on your doorstep. You can go, you know, I don't know, like just on the train to London, and you're able to go inside and visit places and see things from 1500s, you know, and it's just really interesting. And I like the whole history side of going away, you know. But I suppose it depends what you want to go for as well, doesn't it? Because some people want to go for like a party experience. It's not really me. History stuff is a little bit more me. I think history is really cool. I suppose if you want to go for a relaxing holiday, that's good too. The thing about a lot of hotels now is that there's so much in the hotel that you don't really have to go out. So you could go on holiday somewhere and not even have to leave like the premises that you're going to, which is quite a good thing, because you've got like shops there, you've got food there, you've got a swimming pool, you've got a gym, you've got like activities, you've got like entertainment, you've got everything you need in just one resort. So you don't even really need to leave, do you? If anyone else is from England, did you guys ever go to Butlins and Haven when you was younger? Because I used to go on those holidays. I used to really like them. I used to see the like in the caravans, and I used to in the entertainment, used to get the old Britain's Got Talent contestants go on there. I think I met some of them before. I think I met they're called Same Difference or something like that. I met them when I was there when I was really young. But yeah, if you guys have been to these sort of places, let me know. I know I'm really rambling on, but so I know that you guys actually listen to this point, because I'm waffling on, but people could stop listening 20 minutes ago and I could be talking to myself. I want you to say, it's got to be something that I'd know in the comments again, isn't it? It can't just be anything. Say there's a pigeon on your plant pot, because I'm looking outside the window and there's a pigeon on my plant pot. So say that if you're still listening at this point. Thanks a lot for listening, everyone. So I hope I didn't bore you too much. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and yeah, love you all. Speak to you all soon. Bye.